Hey everyone, Matt here. How you guys doing today? What's up? So I just got back from seeing Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Oh my god, this movie. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. I can say this, I can definitely say this. It was definitely a movie. I don't even know if I'd call it a movie. It's more like two movies, really. Movie and a half, movie and 3/4, 3 movies, 3 quarts and a pint. It was all over the place. It was very messy. That's the point, what I'm trying to make here. For this video, I'm just gonna be giving my first impressions of how I thought of the movie. First half's gonna be non-spoilers. Second half, gonna be spoilers. Just letting you know, if you wanted to go see the spoiler stuff, go to this time. Yeah, let's get into it. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker was a mess. I loved it, and I also really hated it at the same time. The first half of the movie was, I don't even know what the hell. But the second half was really good, I think. But I can definitely say this first half was something else, man. The movie was on crack, essentially. It had ADD. It was just one thing after the other. Oh, we got this transmission. Oh, well, we got a spy. Oh, but we got to get this little trinket shit, and oh, then this. Oh, it was just one thing after another, and just wouldn't stop. I was like, hold the fuck up, okay? You need to stop. You're on crack. We need to send you to rehab. You know, we can kick this out of you. They just tried to cram so much stuff into about an hour and a half of movie that it just felt like we were on a roller coaster, essentially. There was just so much exposition, so much plot details, so many things happening, so many planets they had to go to. That's why I'm saying it was more like 2 movies, because they try to cram a whole bunch of information in the first half so we get prepared for the second half of the movie. It was more like a TV miniseries and a movie alongside each other, because if they made the first half into like its own movie, it would be the most boring shit ever. It would be like Solo, a Star Wars story. What they were doing in there was half explaining the plot, trying to insert Palpatine into the whole thing because of stuff. You know, just kind of trying to explain The Last Jedi away and the problems that they have with that. You know, this movie was just one big diss to The Last Jedi, essentially, and shoving a middle finger right up its little face, because it just ruined everything. I was just like, when is this gonna stop? I'm so tired. I need rest. Okay, I need rest. About halfway through the movie, you know, we do get a little bit of a rest, but still, that first half is just so jarring. It was my least favorite part of the movie. Some stuff I liked about the movie, the special effects were great, obviously the best out of this little trilogy right here. They've always spent some good money on the special effects for this. They use a lot of practical stuff, which I think is neat. After that first half of the movie, the film does start to get better. I wouldn't say it's necessarily amazing or great. It was pretty good. Kind of like the stuff they did with already existing characters. You know, they did give some good plot wrap-ups for them in this movie. I'm not 100% satisfied with them, but they're pretty good endings there, so like what they did with that. The ending of the movie, okay. I'm just fine with it. You know, I'm not gonna say what it is here, obviously, but okay. It's acceptable, you know, with what they were given with The Last Jedi, what they did with it. It's alright. It could have been much worse if things went differently. So again, this movie is just a mess. That's why I'm having a hard time just thinking about it, because I'm so conflicted, because the first half was something else and the second half was kind of good thing. So I don't know really what to call it. Should I call it bad? Should I call it decent? Should I call it okay? I really don't know. I know what choice I have to make, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. There was a couple plot points here and there that were I don't know if I like them that much. They did a bunch of teases in this movie. They said like, oh, we got you, psych. So I'm like, okay, why did you do that then? The Star Wars fan service, there is a lot in there. I didn't notice it as much as other people, you know, but the fan service is really there. It's heavy in there with a lot of the stuff that happens in it. I wouldn't call it Star Wars Rise of the Fan Fiction, as some people are calling it. I mean, I get why, you know, because of some things that happen. I can't talk about this movie without mentioning spoilers, man. It's insane. J.J. Abrams was handed something that was a mess, tried his best to make it into something, and I think he succeeded somewhat, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I can give a final score for this, because I just don't know how to feel. I have to think about it a lot more. This movie This whole trilogy, it is the ultimate example, I think, of a company going too fast into something, going like light speed jumping. That was another thing in the movie. Just going straight first into this thing without knowing what they were doing, and they just wanted money. If they are doing a sequel trilogy with us, which I think they are, plan that shit out. I think they're probably gonna do that because of what happened with this trilogy, and they're gonna have one director or multiple directors on the same page, no getting off script or anything like that. It's gonna be strictly this. Even if there's some stuff that they messed up with the lore, they're gonna stick to it, and that may be a mistake with that one. They may overdo it with it, but I don't know. This whole trilogy was bogged down by greed, going way too fast into something, and no, here's the one decision that ruined this entire trilogy, alright? So I was watching a video about how this whole Disney Star Wars Lucasfilm deal went down. From what they said in there, apparently George Lucas had a whole sequel trilogy planned out. He had a whole storyline for it and all that kind of stuff. You know, he had all that stuff ready to go. He gave some ideas to them and said, "Hey, can you make this trilogy for me? I need to go back and roll in my fucking pool of money." But Kathleen Kennedy said,
No, I don't think I will.
Right there is when this whole thing messed up, because they had something ready for them to do. They decided to drop it because Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do her own little thing on there and wanted to go her own way with whatever the heck she was doing with it. I mean, they announced this whole trilogy right when the deal was announced. You know, they only had like 3 years to make one movie and a whole entire plan for where they were gonna go with it. So that's not a lot of time. They should have planned this out a lot more, at least delayed the first movie to like 2016, and just have this whole thing planned out in ahead, okay? I really hate that this happened to it, because I think it had a lot of potential. I think it really did. But when you get different ideas going on with no one on the same page on a thing that's supposed to be a trilogy, following each other, trying to be like chronological and make sense, yeah, this is what happens. Anyone that's doing something like big, I've planned this shit out. Know what you're gonna be doing before you actually start doing it, because if you don't, then you're gonna mess up eventually, and it's just all gonna right in front of you. That's my non-spoilery first impressions of this movie. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna give it a score, because it is just so jarring. I have to still think about it a lot. If I have to give it a score, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 to a 7. First half, some butt fuckery shit going on in that one. If I had to rate that part, that'd be getting like a 3. But the second half, it was a good Star Wars movie. So there you go, 6.5 or just a 6 to 7. Somewhere around there. Now let's go into spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet, watch it, because you don't need to watch the movie. I did it for you. I remembered it, so you didn't fucking have to, alright? I'm dog walking up in this bit. For the spoiler section, I'm just gonna talk about each individual plot point and give my opinion on each of them, so, you know, it's more organized that way, so I'm not really rambling. First thing, Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. She had to be somebody. I mean, come on, man. I really would. It would have been so cool if it turns out that her parents were just nobodies, you know, because it could prove that, you know, something can come out of nothing. You know, anyone is capable of anything, you know what I mean? But I knew that was going to happen, that she was going to be related to someone evil. You know, it's kind of the way they were taking her character. And if Palpatine is the one to be inserted into the story to make that happen, sure, I'm fine with it. She is the daughter of Palpatine's son, which I guess he had kids, apparently. When? I don't know. When he was being, like, emperor, when did all that happen? It's probably around the Phantom Menace time, because Rey's pretty young, so her parents were probably born around that time, so he wasn't an ugly boy Palpatine at that point, so at least they didn't have to deal with that. It seems like they inserted Palpatine into the story to just fix everything that was wrong with The Last Jedi, with the parents and the freaking, you know, Snoke and other things like that, all kind of revolving around him. Like, Snoke turns out to be a partial clone of Palpatine. And that solves that plot point right there, so it just kind of proves him to be useless compared to the mighty power of Mr. Palpatine. Right. Rise. The first half of this movie is like The Last Jedi that they never made. You know, it's the plot points that they wanted to put in there, but just putting it in the context of the rest of the film, you know, that kind of stuff. So technically they did put another movie into the first half of this thing, but I think it would have been worked better as a TV series, honestly, you know, because of the stuff that happened in it. But that's just me. Raylo, that was a thing for about 5 seconds. Glad that got done there. It was an awkward kiss, apparently. I didn't look at it. You know, I usually don't look at kisses in movies that much, but yeah, they got their moment. Whoopity freaking do. Kylo, he finally completed his journey about becoming a good guy again, and it took Harrison Ford to come back and get like a $2 million paycheck to do two minutes worth of video. I wonder how much they paid him to come back for that. I want it's probably in the millions, at least, for him to just do that one scene, you know, because I think he hates Star Wars or something. I think that's right. So they shelled out for him, and I think he's going to be pretty good for the rest of his life if he's going to retire after this. The Leia scenes I thought were really strange because if you didn't know how they did it, they had to reuse some old footage from The Force Awakens and insert them into this movie. And so when her scenes are on, it's really, really weird because it seems like she's in a completely different scene, because they are. Rey's talking to her. This is during like the really fast part of the movie, so it's hard to process everything. You know, you look at Carrie Fisher, it doesn't look like she's looking at Rey, or anyone for that matter. You know, it's just kind of looking like she's looking out at space. Her tone doesn't match the conversation. You know, it's really weird. Daisy Ridley tries her best to match the tone, but again, it just comes across as awkward because it's just reusing old stuff that is not used in the context of this movie. They wanted to use her as a plot point for that whole Ben and Rey thing, or, you know, Kylo Ren Ben thing, so I get it. What else are you gonna do? CGI her? People would have thrown a pissy fit if they CGI'd her, so I get it. Again, the first half of this movie, good God, man, it's like, again, it's on speed, it's on ADD. First, oh, we got a transmission. Palpatine's back. There's a spy in the First Order. We gotta go check this shit out. Oh, we gotta go to this planet. Oh, we found this dagger. Oh, it tells us where to get this other trinket to go to this other place. So we gotta go find that thing, and we gotta go to this planet. And then, oh, C-3PO won't translate, so we have to go to this planet. It's a mess, man. Again, it's an entirely different movie. Just it's shoved into this one thing. They could have made it better if they just gave it time to breathe and not inserted so much stuff in it and just focused on this, you know, the kind of Sith part of it. You know, during that time they're trying to build up Rey as this all-powerful Jedi. Speaking of that, she was so OP in this movie. I'm not gonna call Mary Sue, but close to it. Like what she did with the ship that supposedly had Chewie on it. I don't know if that was a real or if it was an illusion, like a Force illusion. I don't know. They answered so many new Force things into this thing. It's weird. They're adding so many new stuff in here. Like, whoa, slow down. We got Force holding ships. We have Force healing now. I think that's been a thing. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of get that. You know, Force heal, life Force. I get that. I'm not too mad about that. Taking up items in the Force Skype call thing. I don't remember if that was the thing. You know, that helps in certain scenarios right there. The Last Jedi did that too. You know, with the whole Luke Force projection thing from across the galaxy and the whole Skype call thing. So this is just as guilty of that as that movie. I'm not too intrinsically invested in the intricacies of the Force and the shit like that. I mean, there's nothing like midichlorians in this, but still, she's pretty OP. If they just cut a bunch of stuff out of the first half and slowed it down and gave it time to breathe, then I think it would have been fine. You know, you can go on that little fetch quest. That's fine, but give it time to breathe. Just slow down. We don't need all this exposition. We get it. We can fill in the blanks for ourselves, okay? The way they brought back Lando and kind of just there a lot of the time. In that first scene, he was just kind of there saying, hey, I'm here too. Oh, bye. I just wanted to let y'all know I'm in the movie too. But the ending, I think, was a kind of cool idea how they did it, but some stuff was like, ooh, that's a little too crazy. The way he did that little Force lightning thing up in the sky, What in the world? I didn't know he was that powerful. You know, this lightning is powerful, but good God, man. Mace Windu took all that lightning and not really got a scar from it. My God, Mace Windu, man. That's the most powerful Jedi right there. He getting skipped out. I think he said in there, like, all the Sith live in me. So apparently that's a thing now. All the spirits come in him, you know what I mean? Maybe he's talking about all the Sith spirits are in me. He just forgot to mention that part of it. But you know, it's kind of it's an inspirational thing for Rey to say, "Oh, all the Jedi live in me." I've been looking at some other videos and some stuff like that. Of course, Rey at the end takes up the name Skywalker after all that stuff happens. I read some spoilers, so I knew that was coming. That was like the one thing I knew that was about to happen. From what I've been reading, when Ben disappears as a Force ghost after their whole little kiss thing, he goes inside of her, like his spirit lives inside of her, his Force spirit, I guess. You know, I just thought, oh, he's dead. He's a Force spirit now. But I guess he's living inside her, so that whole Reylo thing can keep on going forever if they wanted it to. Wonder what he's doing in there. And that's part of the inspiration for why she said, oh, I'm Skywalker now, because Ben lives inside her. All Skywalker's gone, except him and her. There you go. Also, Luke and Leia, that little Force Ghost projection up there. Another thing says, like, Leia and Luke were like the parents Rey never had. So she has a lot of appreciation for them, and she feels like she's part of the family, so she takes up the name Skywalker. Cool. That Rose character, she's just there. A lot of other people, they're just there. Did they ever explain what the freaking Finn was gonna say to her? I'm sure it was gonna say either that he loves her or he's gay, loves dicks for life. Whatever. Well, I guess we'll never know. But he does have the Force though. So that's cool. We knew that already, though, I thought. The Chewie death fake out thing, what the hell was that? I mean, that was the most pointless thing in the whole movie. Why did you do that? There was literally no point. It made us feel sad. Oh, it gave them motivation to go and do this thing, but it was only for like 10 minutes, and then it just went back. Maybe the point was to show how much power she might have had if she did kill Chewie with the Force. But it was so pointless. You could have done that so many different ways without faking out Chewie's death. What was the point of that? Other pointless thing, General Hux. He was the spy, but not really. He was just doing it because he was mad at Kylo Ren, but then, oh, he's a really wimpy character, so we gotta kill him off. Why, man? Dude, they just abused General Hux in this trilogy, man. He just didn't go anywhere. All these characters didn't go anywhere. They were replaced by someone else. The commander, he was pretty cool. And, you know, he's just as underused as General Hux is. But everything that was supposed to be set up for this trilogy but got ruined by Rian Johnson. So they tried to do a lot of managed work in this movie, and then finish it that way. It doesn't help sometimes when you rush into things. You make mistakes, really bad mistakes sometimes in this case, and people, you know, have a bad impression. Overall, I think this whole trilogy was neat. It was a nice little thing, a little addition to the whole Skywalker thing. It's nothing too exciting. I wasn't crying when I left the movie. You know, I'm not too attached to any of these characters like I would have with the original trilogy with, you know, Darth Vader and Luke and Leia and stuff like that. They could have done a better job with setting them up and not tying them so exclusively with the past trilogy to have the whole memberberry movie thing going on, but I don't think it was bad. I just think it was mismanaged, got messed up along the way, but they wrapped it up as best as they could. So again, final score 6 to 7. A neat little wrap up to this interesting little experiment that Lucasfilm did. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Also, make sure to subscribe, like this video, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server. Really awesome if you did. Been Matt here, and I will see you guys in the next video. It's gonna be fun. Let's just say that. So yeah, bye.